Hello folks, Phil Gallagher of ThrabenU here for another modern video. Today we're going to be playing with Andreas's modern Loam deck list. I put a considerable amount of work into this one. I don't know whether or not what I've put together is going to work, but I think it should be fun. So the general idea that Andreas sent to me was we want to use cards like Sakura Tribe's Scout and Skyshroud Ranger, which allow us to play extra lands alongside Life from the Loam to really cheat on mana. And kind of one of our end payoff things is going to be aggressive mining. So you can't play lands. Or can we? You can't play lands. Sacrifice a land to draw 2 cards. Activate only once each turn. Now, this does mean I can activate it on my own turn and my opponent's turn. I'm just going to throw that out there. So the goal for this deck list is going to be to create an exorbitant amount of lands and gain value by playing lands. And I've put together a weird cacophony of cards in various numbers that may or may not work. So we are going to have Vinelasher Kudzu. Whenever a land ETBs, you put a +1/+1 counter on it. And we are also going to have Tireless Tracker that can similarly grow. Although this one requires a mana investment, it also does let us draw cards. We are also going to be playing Valakut Exploration. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, exile the top card of your library. You can play it for as long as it remained exiles. And at the end step, you get to deal a damage to your opponent equal to the number of cards that are still exiled with this thing. So we're looking to essentially draw a bunch of cards, play a bunch of lands, and gain value off of them. We have Wrenn and 6 as another way, other than just Life from the Loam, of going and recurring all of our land. And this is also just something that can ping small threats in the early game. We have this and Lightning Bolt as our primary removal. Come the end game, we have a Titania combo. So when a land you control is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, you create a 5/3 elemental. So if you have this plus aggressive mining, you're gonna make a lot of power real quick. We also have the new Wrenn and 7, in addition to Wrenn and 6. The plus looks at the top 4, and you get all of the lands. The rest go into your graveyard. The 0 puts any number of land cards from your land onto the battlefield tapped. Again, another thing that ignores the restriction of aggressive mining. -3 gives you a Tree Folk with power and toughness equal to lands you control. And the -8 returns all permanent cards from your graveyard to your hand, and you have no maximum hand size anymore. So there's some cute synergies in this deck. There's also some small anti-synergies, though. So we'll see whether or not what I've put together here is cohesive enough to actually work. I believe this was like absolutely a tier 3 donation that like required a good amount of tuning. I've played 0 games with it though, so like we'll see whether some of this stuff works out. As far as the sideboard goes, I decided I wanted to beat a handful of things rather than trying to beat everything, as is often the case with brews. Like, your deck has real weaknesses, and you can't be a generalist like many of the more powerful decks can. So I've chosen to have some good game versus artifacts, some good game versus creatures, and Anger of the Gods specifically is going to kill these things, but probably won't kill Vinelasher, Kudzu, and Tireless Tracker if I set it up properly. We have Zuran Orb, which should be real frustrating for a burn deck to try to beat. And we have a pile of Chalice of the Voids because Cascade decks are everywhere in the leagues, in my experience. So we'll see how we go. Comments on this video are very much appreciated. If you have thoughts after seeing this in action, I'm sure the donor would appreciate it, and I'm sure what I've put together is like not going to work perfectly, but hopefully we win some games. If you're new here, if you enjoy the content, throw me a subscription. And if you're a regular, throw me a like. That's the easiest way to support my content for free, and I wouldn't ask if it wasn't important to my analytics and kind of my success as a content creator. All right, let's battle. This should be wild. Okay, I'm a little land light here. This hand is fine if I get another land. I think I am going to keep this. I'm going to keep this and like count on either drawing a land in like 2 draw steps or just like hard casting this Life from the Loam and accepting that I kind of just like have a bad turn. All right, Inspiring Vantage. All right, we are getting burned. Okay, there's my other land. In which case, I think my hand is fine. Zuran Orbs in the sideboard are going to be very good. Cool. That's a neat mountain. I like that. Eidolon, sure. So land drop, this is now a 2/2. And I think I'm going to go ahead and play a Tireless Tracker here. And I think I'm just going to chill rather than attack my opponent. I want to not take 2 combat damage from this if at all possible. Okay, there's another land. And a Rift Bolt, that's fine. Alright, this is awkward for me now. I am going to go ahead and play out the Valakut Exploration. I think that will be worth 2 life. If like an Eidolon weren't in play, I would be very happy to be like doing life from the Loam shenanigans here. We'll see whether or not my opponent is going to be going for my creatures here. Boros Charm, ow. I assume after that Boros Charm that this just goes to my dome. Yeah. The opponent's not going to deal with my creatures. Let's see if I'm dead. Like, I very well could just be dead right now. That puts me to 3, and another one will just kill me. Yep, okay. GG. This is why we have Zuran Orbs. Alright, 2 Zuran Orbs in... I can also consider Chalice of the Void and putting that on 1. Like, that's reasonable life gain. Aggressive mining is not going to be viable in this matchup. Like, I just want to get to big mana and kill my opponent. So I'm 100% playing another Tireless Tracker to just kind of fill this slot. And then the next question is, like, what is not good? Life from the Loam is not good against Eidolon, but otherwise, like, could be fine. I need to keep all my top end. Seismic Assault is a little mana intensive. Valakut Exploration is a little slow. Life from the Loam is a little slow. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to board these chalices. Like, my lightning bolts are super relevant. These things are super relevant to me getting to my stuff that's actually going to win the game. I definitely don't want these in the game where I'm on the draw. I'm not sure about the game where I'm on the play. I think I'm just going to submit. Zuran Orb, Life from the Loam. Absolute keep. Alright, so I'll go Copper Gorge. I'll just cycle this now. And pick up another land. Fetch land specifically is kind of cute. So now I just want some ways to cheat extra lands into play. Oh, this is beautiful. Nice. Alright, so I'm going to take 1 from this turn. Sure. Do I want to fetch so that I can return another card to hand? After I play a land, I'm going to have 6 in hand. Is it like, so the question is like, is it worth a life to just get 1 more card? Sure. I think very specifically, I want a mountain here because that, like, I need red, red, red for a seismic assault. So I need something to kind of like buy some time to get me to the Titania. Suspended Rift Bolt on top of Goblin Guide. Sure. I do not want to... Sky Shroud Ranger is revealed. Like, that's one of my things that puts lands into play. That's actually a decent draw here. I'll be good with that. So let's just cycle this. I don't want the Loam back yet. Soccer Tribe Scout. All right, fantastic. So yeah. I guess I'll put this into play now. Just in case. Right, Rift Bolt at me, Rift Bolt at a creature. Rift Bolt at a creature. Reasonable. Lightning Bolt at a creature. Okay, like, those have gained me 6 life already. That's totally fine. Yeah. So this is 6 damage. Goblin Guide gives me a Field of Ruin. Sure. I do not want that. Okay, Tireless Tracker is great. I think I am just going to go ahead and play that. And I'll do a apt Stomping Ground. All I need to do here is make it 1 more turn. And then I will play Titania and Zuran Orb away all of my lands. And create a whole bunch of elementals. Alright, Goblin Guide reveals what? Valakut Exploration, sure. I think I'm just going to block the Monastery Swiftspear. It has the capability to do more damage this turn. And I very much just care about making it out of this turn. Boros Charm. That puts me to 4. So I do have to Zuran Orb away a land, unfortunately. in order to stay alive, which means I'm not playing Titania this turn. All right, I'm at 2. I'll just take a natural draw. I want to hit a creature. This is okay. I would rather find a lightning bolt or something like that that allows me to make it through this turn properly. My opponent's got 3 cards in hand, so, like, life is still bad. I think I'm just gonna, like, do this and take a draw. Copperline Gorge. Okay. So I have to Zuran Orb away my stuff. Man, I just needed 1 turn, and then we had, like, 20 plus power worth of elementals and an extra 10 life. Goblin Guide reveals Wrenn and 7. Okay. I have to Zuran Orb away a land here. Go to 4. Boros Charm me. Okay. I sacrifice a land. I go to 6. Boros Charm puts me to 2. Then I have to sacrifice another land immediately in order to go up to 4 and stay alive. Yeah, basically this isn't great. I'm dead to 1 more spell. Yeah, so I can sacrifice my land to stay alive, but then I have no outs from there. Like, I go down to 1 land, and then I'm just, like, in this abyss forever. Especially since I already know the top card of my deck. I'm going to go ahead and concede there. We were so close to putting together this combo. That's a little sad. I think without a second land here, this one's just not going to be keepable. I'm going to mulligan my first hand here. This is a fine hand. I am just going to pitch the Field of Ruin here. This Wrenn and 6 Vinelasher Kudzu combo is going to be very good. Assuming my opponent just, like, doesn't get under us while being on the play, which realistically can happen. Okay, here we go. Island, Sleight of Hand. I haven't played a lot of Modern recently. I think it's been roughly 2 weeks since I played a Modern League. Ooh. I was planning on cycling Tranquil Thicket this turn. Do I just play that instead? Yeah, probably. Historically, when I have played against Sleight of Hand, it's been like a Storm deck of some kind. My plan versus that is Chalice helps. Otherwise, Okay, another Sleight of Hand. Okay, so blue-black, maybe not actually Storm. Okay, cool. Let's go land, fetch, Stomping Grounds, Jock, Wrenn and 6, plus turn Windswept Heath, tap this, put in Windswept Heath, fetch, Stomping Ground, Jock, cycle, Tranquil Thicket, Seismic Assault. Okay. That was a good turn too, folks. I'm pretty happy with that. I'm not gonna lie to you. This is the deck doing the thing that I designed it to do. Okay, Gemstone Mine. All right, definitely looking unfair. So let's get a clock in play. So, Vinelasher Kudzu, plus return Windswept Heath, play land, throw this idiot. I probably don't even want to play Seismic Assault this turn, right? Probably not. I probably want to just, like, play this and Lightning Bolt my opponent. Out. Yeah, let's go ahead and tap this. Put in a Stomping Ground. I have 3 or 4 Stomping Grounds in this deck. That matters for this decision. I have 4. I do not need to pay. Don't need to pay the life immediately. All right, so kind of expecting my opponent to be on, like, some sort of ad nauseum deck now. Yeah. Okay, so is there any reason to Lightning Bolt my opponent now? Probably not. Okay. My opponent is just trying to do this over multiple turns here. I'll just go ahead and fetch out this final Stomping Ground. Grow this thing further. Okay. Okay. So this is gonna get cute. Plus this. Turn Windswept Heath. Play that. Valakut triggers. What's a Vinelasher Kudzu under it? Oh, that's kind of awkward. That's okay. Yeah, that's okay. So, I guess let's yield to that. What's under there now? Is that a Tireless Tracker? I think I just want the Vinelasher Kudzu, honestly. Alright. I'm gonna go ahead and hit my opponent here. They're gonna drop to 12. Which is now 11 from Valakut Exploration. I expect to die this turn. Oh my god, what are you doing outside? Okay, yeah. So this is going to be Spoils of the Vault. Opponent is at negative 35. Okay. And they Thassa's Oracle and win the game. They have 0 cards in library. What did they name with their Spoils of the Vault? This is important. They have named +2 Mace. Understood. I can deal 3 infect damage to them via a Lightning Bolt. Oh, I think I messed up my turn. I think I was supposed to play Seismic Assault instead of Vinelasher Kudzu, because I can sacrifice 5 lands and deal my opponent 10 infect. I punted that game. What a wild line. Oh god, that's so weird. I did not think of Seismic Assault dealing infect damage. That's weird. Okay. Okay, so I have very few things that are going to impact what my opponent is doing. I can play a Chalice of the Void to, like, slow down their cantrips and shut off, like, the Spoils of the Vault type stuff. My clock is really respectable, like, with, like, a Vinelasher Kudzu in play. Because of the line that I just figured out, I guess I'm not discarding a Seismic Assault. Or I'm not sideboarding those out. Am I just boarding out the aggressive minings? Like, when my opponent is playing a fast deck, I don't have time to extract value via aggressive mining, like, the way the deck is designed to do. And I can, like, board down a Lightning Bolt, I guess. That's fine. I also could maybe board in another Tireless Tracker over a Lightning Bolt. Sure. Alright, my life total kind of be damned here. Like, my opponent is winning via a Thassa's Oracle, so it doesn't, like, super matter that I take a bunch of damage shocking myself. Yeah, there's a Seismic Assault, which I'm actually pretty happy about. Oh, sorry. Seismic Assault is not sacrifice a land. I messed that up. Okay, JK. Seismic Assault is discard a land. So I guess if I keep 5 lands in hand, I can do that. Sorry, I mixed it up with, like, some aggressive mining type cards. Alright. So tap this. Put in a Foothills. Batch. I am just going to shock myself again. Like, I am actively going to need triple red for the things that I have going on here. This Valakut Exploration is going to deal a shit ton of damage. Profane Tutor. Okay. So this turn probably has to begin with a Life from the Loam, targeting these 2 things. Okay, so now I'm going to tap this and put in a Wooded Foothills first. The reason being that Valakut Exploration could potentially hit a land that I can play from it if that's something that I want to do. This land would enter tapped, though, so I don't actually want to play that this turn. Alright. I'm just going to fetch away Field of Ruin. Maybe I just want to optimize damage here. Yeah, I'm just going to optimize damage and get my opponent dead. So let's fetch. I will play a new Valakut Exploration and just dome my opponent for 4. Now, these lands go to graveyard, which means I can bring them back with Life from the Loam, which is quite strong. I don't know exactly how many basics my opponent is playing, but I can definitely mess around with the stuff they've got going on over there. So exile the top 13 library. Okay. Exile 13 and then tutor. Sure. Okay. I'm going to presume that they have multiple Thassa's Oracles, so, like, this is not a true problem. Alright. I will dredge the Life from the Loam. Okay, cool. So let's cast a Life from the Loam. I'll target, like, fetch land. Want the Groll Turf? No, probably not. Maybe, like, Field of Ruin. Alright, so let's pay 2 mana. Tap this. Put in a Wooded Foothills. That's a Life from the Loam and a Lightning Bolt. Cool. So let's fetch. Grab, like, a mountain. Oh, that's a Chalice of the Void. And is that a Wrenn 7? That is a Wrenn 7. Yeah. I'll play a fetch land. Okay, so this is now 6 damage. I'll fetch. Get another thing going here. Okay, cool, cool, cool. So there is 8 damage under this. I can make this 9-10 with Field of Ruin. Or I can start actually doing some of this stuff. So it's worth playing a Lightning Bolt. Absolutely. And then I think I need to play Chalice of the Void and put it on 2. So I can counter a Thassa's Oracle and stop that from happening. Then I'll just go ahead and move to the end step and dome my opponent with that. I also gotta put it on 0 to stop Profane Tutor from coming off. I don't know if my opponent has, wow, blanking on words. Wow. Cavern of Souls, there we go. That's what I was thinking of. Like, if they can assemble, like, Unlife plus Thassa's Oracle plus Cavern of Souls this turn, like, good on them. Okay, there's a Phyrexian Unlife. That's fine. That's also fine. I do not want to dredge life from the Loams at this time. So I will play a Field of Ruin. This triggers the 2 Valakut explorations. The Titania. That's a Vinelasher. I don't want to play the Vinelasher. I'm fine playing the Titania. Go ahead and play that. And return a fetch land. Okay. So I'll go ahead and fetch, which gives me an elemental. Oh yeah, we're doing the thing. I don't need to pay for that there. That triggers both of those. So Wrenn in 6, Vinelasher Kudzu, Red in 7. Don't care about any of that. Let's go ahead and, I guess, blow up a city here. Alright, so that gives me another elemental. I have no cards to search for on my end. That's fine. Okay. I'll go ahead and hit you. That brings my opponent to 4. Now at end step, this brings my opponent to a negative life total. So any damage that ends up being dealt to my opponent is now going to have infect damage. So they essentially need to win the game this turn through my Chalice on 2. Otherwise, I have more than enough damage to kill my opponent next turn. They have a prismatic ending. Yeah. They can answer the Chalice. Okay, so they had ending plus spoils plus Thassa's Oracle. And note, this is all damage is dealt to you. So the life loss doesn't actually matter here. So I was 1 turn away from having my opponent dead here. GG's. Maybe I could have like put my Chalice on 0, countered the Profane Tutor, and then I win that game. But it feels like forcing my opponent to have a prismatic ending is pretty important because they don't actually have that many of those, right? Like I can see their deck. They don't actually have very many answers to a Chalice. Although it's awkward that like the Profane Tutor finds their one of answer to it. Okay. Okay, I have a lot of land. I have an endgame threat. I think this is an okay keep. Like, it doesn't super do anything, but if my opponent is playing Burn, like, I have a Lightning Bolt for turn 1 to answer a Goblin Guide or a Swift Spear, which I think turns this into a keep. I got a Stomping Ground out of that, and I'm at 18. Okay. I do probably just have to bolt this card. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I will go ahead and just do this now. This Skyshot Ranger is going to be pretty good in just a little bit. I will grab a mountain. I don't want to take any damage here. And let's just kind of clear this attacker. It still got in 2 damage, which is respectable, but hopefully that's... Hopefully I don't see an Eidolon come down this turn. That's what I don't want to see. Okay. So let's cycle this immediately. I can find another Lightning Bolt. And if I don't, I will just play a Ranger. Opponent's a fan of the content. So I'm going to fetch a basic forest here. And then I will play my Ranger. This costs me 2 life. But with the bounce land that I've got going on, I think I just need to do this. Alright, so I dropped to 14 and I get my critter. My opponent says they're testing for a tournament, and so far they're not a super big fan of burn. If the previous match was sort of an indicator, we were like one turn away from stabilizing. Fuck. Versus burn. Ah. So I think my plan for winning this game is essentially Wrenn in 6. Or sorry, Wrenn in 7. Like minusing and making very large things. Does activate only as a sorcery? Yeah, okay. Not great for me. Alright, so let's go land. Play a Gruul Turf. Bounce a land back to hand. Tap this. Put in a Stomping Ground. Don't pay the life. I could cast a life from the Loam. That does not feel like it's worth 4 damage right now, though. So next turn, I can make a big booty creature. And hopefully I can kind of stop the bleeding here. But, oh god, Suspended Rift Bolt, not great for me. Lava Spike, also not great for me. Yeah. So, let's play a Wrenn in 7. So, note that the more expensive cards don't actually cause me to take any damage. And I'm just chilling. This Tree Folk token will theoretically get larger. I'm hoping the Rift Bolt goes at Wrenn in 7 rather than at my face. It went at my face. I'm dead to any one spell, like a Boros Charm, for example. Yep, there it is. So, like, again, I think we were just, like, one turn away from winning. Right? Because, like, opponents at 5 here from all the damage they did to themselves. Like, this Tree Folk plus this Lightning Bolt, like, could have maybe gotten me into an okay situation given, like, just a touch more time. Alright, I remember doing this before. I put 2 Zuran Orbs in, and I think I brought in the other Tireless Tracker. I also could go, like, the Anger of the Gods lines, but I feel like I need these things to ramp. Because, like, my dream is, like, get to Titania, Zuran Orb. Like, that's the thing that is probably going to win me these games in a lot of cases. That's Zuran Orb Titania. So I probably just keep this hand. And hope that I draw, like, a Life from the Loam or just a few lands naturally. Okay, so land Pseudo Mana Dork, go. And we'll see if this dies to a removal spell. Oh, okay. I am actually kind of happy that my opponent has a Goblin Guide here. Valakut Exploration. Sick. Absolutely happy to have that. I can play Copperline Gorge. Tap this. Put in a Scalding Tarn. Fetch. Grab an untapped land. And I can play Valakut Exploration. Now, this can potentially allow me to, like, spiral this game out of control. Boros Charm? No, Searing Blaze. That's unfortunate. I wanted that creature. Alright. Sakura Tribe Scout on top. Not what I am looking for in this turn cycle. I really just wanted land. I'm not going to show my opponent the Zuran Orb yet. I'm in the situation where if I draw lands, I'm okay and I can win this game, and if I don't draw lands, I'm dead. This Goblin Guide can get me to Titania Zuran Orb. Alright, there's a land. Second land. Fuck. Field of... Wait. Okay, Life from the Loam a second time. Sure. Okay. So, I think the way to do this is tap this, put in Field of Ruin, and try to hit another land drop off of this trigger. Kappa. Ah! That, like, almost works. Damn. Okay. I mean, I have my combo next turn. Alright, that's a mountain. I'm gonna go ahead and blow up Inspiring Vantage. Am I getting Boros Charmed? Getting Boros Charmed. Now, that's not great. Alright, so I re-trigger Valakut Exploration. Gives me a tracker that I cannot get. So I'll Life from the Loam back some stuff. And play out a Zuran Orb. So I think the same thing is going to happen as last time around, though, where, like, I'm going to sacrifice a land and be, like, just off from doing my thing. Yeah. So now I have to sacrifice 2 lands in order to survive, which means I'm not getting the Titania. Fuck. Like, again, I'm just 1 land away from, like, greatness here. Maybe Copperline Gorge should not be in the deck. Alright. So I sacrifice this. I sacrifice this. Go back to 1. I need to draw a... Oh, wait, hold on. Fuck. No, I still could have Titania'd this, like, on my next turn if not for this. I can... Yeah. Alright. Like, I'll pretend like I'm still playing Magic. Like, I can only have 3 mana this turn. I'm just, like, a little behind. Go to 2. I can get up to 3 mana. I don't think that leaves me with any real outs. Yeah, that's not gonna do it. Alright. GG's. Like, I want to do this thing so badly. I've been 1 mana away both times. Ugh. Alright, I hope you've been enjoying the Magic. If you have, listen to this avocado. Subscribe to Phil's YouTube channel and leave comments. He would like that a lot. Excellent. Thank you, Avocado-san. You may leave. Okay, that's all I've got. Back to the show. Are we playing against Burn again? Okay. This hand's awkward. Like, the Girl Turf is not meant to play Wrenn 6 on turn 2. I think I'm just going to go ahead and mulligan this one and try to do something better. Yeah, this hand looks actively good. So I'll do a tapped land on turn 1. And I think I'm going to go ahead and throw back the Wrenn 7 and keep the Titania. Like, I'm planning on... Oh, won the die roll. Nice. I didn't think I did. I will play a Wooded Foothills here, so that if my opponent is playing Burn, I can Lightning Bolt a turn 1 creature. Otherwise, I'll fetch tapped Stomping Grounds. Okay. Probably not Burn. Polluted Delta in Burn would be a real weird flex. Or maybe looking at a Shadow deck list. Okay. Oh, we're playing against Mill. Archive Trap, Modern Legal? I think so. Don't think I get to, like, play around that card. I just have to shock and remove this crab. Yeah. My Wrenn 6 is gonna be pretty good. Alright, Lightning Bolt to crab. Do not need to dredge life from the loam right now. We'll just go ahead and play a Wrenn 6. And I'll just return some things that don't cost me life or don't search. Titania is going to be slightly awkward in that, like, it is going to cause me to search and make Archive Trap harder to deal with. I'm not really sure as far as sideboard options go, like, if I'm going to have anything that's super relevant to bring in. Like, I can play Anger of the Gods to sweep crabs, but that also gets rid of my mana acceleration, so, okay, new crab. So I'm going to get milled for a decent amount here. Okay. I want to play against something slow and dirtily so that I can actually do, like, some aggressive mining shenanigans, but I feel like this is going to be another one of those rounds where, like, I don't have time to set this up, and, like, drawing cards is actively bad versus this deck in the first place. I need a real threat that can pressure my opponent's life total ASAP. Surgical Extraction on Valakut Exploration. Sure. There's a world where I get Wrenn 7 to ultimate and, like, Lightning Bolt my opponent to death. No dredge, just draw. I can play, like, a tapped Stomping Grounds here. I don't have anything to do with my mana this turn. Actually, I think I misplayed. I think I was not supposed to make that land drop yet. Didn't realize Forgotten Cave had been milled over. Yep. Misplay identified, misplay punished. Such is the circle of life. Now I don't have a Vinelasher Kudzu in play and start attacking. So turn 3 is often the turn where the mill deck starts to get scary, because like a lot of the bangers are at CMC 3. Okay, cool. So let's go Vinelasher, Kudzu. Oh, do you have a counterspell? A Drown in the Lock sort of thing? Yeah, you do have a Drown in the Lock. Okay. And I'll play a Sakura Tribe Scout. I'm going to plus this. Do I want the Forgotten Cave back? Yeah, the Forgotten Cave's fine. Alright, Play the Rootbound Crag. Cycle this. Okay. So I think a lot of this game is going to come down to whether or not my opponent gets the third land and whether or not my opponent has more archive traps. Okay, no dredge, no plays from my opponent. Wireless tracker is not bad. Alright, so let's tap this. Put in a Rootbound Crag. Attempt a Titania. Sadness. In which case, I guess I'll continue to plus on this Forgotten Cave. I don't like that this is drawing me cards and, like, decreasing my deck size, but I, like, need to be making land drops and hitting threats. So, like, that is what it is. A Tranquil Thicket, okay. Now I technically can Emblem here and use that to Lightning Bolt Hedron Crab. That's another Titania hitting the graveyard. I don't love that. Alright, am I getting milled for like 16? Okay. 22 cards remaining in library. They got 10. Okay. Well, that's certainly horrifying. Probably need to Emblem. Alright, immediate Emblem. Will be very sad if my opponent Surgical Lightning Bolt in response to this. Alright, Lightning Bolt, target crab. Paying 1. Discarding a land. Play a Tireless Tracker. I think I'm just going to hold up dealing 6 damage to my opponent's face with these. And crash in for 1. Like, normally the plan with Tireless Tracker is just, like, grow it, but I think that's not what I'm about here. Grab. So answering that will be worth 3 damage. So that's just worth doing. Guard a Scalding Tarn here. Cool. Fatal Push. That's fine. Lightning Bolt you. That brings you to 8. I will now dredge a Life from the Loam. We'll cast Life from the Loam. Targeting 3 lands. It doesn't matter what 3 lands. Lightning Bolt you. Discarding a land to do so. Lightning Bolt you. Discarding a land to do so. Lightning Bolt you. Discarding a land to do so. Fuck yeah! Oh yeah, baby! We did it! On very narrow margins. Whew. Okay. I can bring in Anger of the Gods to sweep crabs. I could play something like an Ancient Grudge if I think my opponent is going to have Mesmeric Orbs, but that's been a lot less common, I think. Chalice is like medium minus, like putting it on 1 technically does some stuff, but like as we saw here, I think that Lightning Bolt's kind of important. In theory, I would like to cut all of my aggressive minings. That gives me 1 Tireless Tracker, and then I guess I'm playing 2 of either Chalice or Anger of the Gods. I guess I'll play 2 Anger of the Gods, and just, like, accept that sometimes they are going to be awkward. This means that, like, I don't, like, since I didn't bring in Zuran Orb, I don't currently have a way to just, like, rip my entire board to Titania. I'll keep it. I don't think this hand is fantastic, but I think the hands that have the 1 drops are pretty good. This card's obnoxious in this deck. Ooh, okay. I don't know if I'm going to play that immediately. Avoid fetching for a little while, I think. I don't know. Maybe the logic is I should fetch immediately, because if opponent doesn't have it now, like, I make it so that, like, if this card they just drew as an archive trap doesn't, like, they can't use it in that case. Maybe I was supposed to fetch immediately. I don't know, like, if they're milling me, I can potentially just, like, not search, right? Like, they can just enable my Wrenn and 6. Sure. Okay, yep. Plenty of lands in graveyard. Alright, Fatal Push occurs. That's fine. It's good, but it's fine. Like, I'm not upset about it. Okay, am I playing Vinelasher, Kudzu, or Wrenn and 6? This thing just clocks harder. I think I'm going to just play this now and treat Wrenn and 6 as the support to make this good. And then I start getting into some weird, like, archive trap situations. Anger of the Gods looking good in this spot. Like, by the time I draw an Anger of the Gods, like, this might be out of range of it. I wonder if I could play Tarmogoyf. Land, Planeswalker, Enchantment, Creature, Land, Sorcery? That would be a fat boy. I don't need Life from the Loam currently. Okay. So Wrenn and 6 or Tireless Tracker. I think I'm dead before I can get to a Wrenn and 6 ultimate. I'm just going to play a Tireless Tracker this turn. And have kind of a difficult decision about whether or not I'm going to fetch in the not too distant future. Obero is a decent amount of endgame inevitability here. Okay, opponent is not shocking here. Don't know that they really need to. No life from the Loam this turn, I don't think. All right, land drop. Crack this. I got a lot of different things to yield to here. Don't want to dredge. I think I have to search. Like I think I need this mana. I think if my opponent has an archive trap, like they will be able to just like do that thing in another turn or so anyway. Yeah, all right. I will play a Wrenn and 6. Have land drops for days in hand. I honestly think I am just going to ping my opponent and just crash in for 4 damage. I think my opponent's Obero beats me alone. Like, if I win, I have to deal 11 damage next turn, and my opponent has multiple blockers, so that's pretty unlikely. Yeah. So that fetch land here kills me, right? So, like, my opponent fetches, mills 6, and then I'm just donezo. I can see the writing on the walls there. On the play, I think I'm going to play one more Anger of the Gods and, like, got a Seismic Assault or something. This is a 1-lander. Even with, like, the Life from the Loam, I don't get to risk that. And it's kind of whatever. I'll probably keep this and pitch the Scalding turn. And just assume that, in some capacity, my opponent mills me to turn on my Life from the Loam. It's so awkward, though, because, like, this is a very good card in the context of this hand, because if my turn 1 is Lightning Bolt you, my turn 2 is play this. And I get no value if I don't keep Scalding turn, or if my opponent doesn't mill me on turn 1, it's hard for them to mill me on turn 1. Alright, so be it. I am going to give them some value if there is an archive trap in their opening hand. But I am going to go ahead and fetch right now so that their top card can't be an archive trap. And I will go ahead and shock and see if we dodged archive trap. Alright, we dodged archive trap. Nice. Alright. Crab. And goodbye, crab. Ooh, okay. So that means that I have a different play for this turn now. So I can immediately start ticking this up and try to work towards an ultimate. So my opponent will have looked at 2 new cards for, like, the purposes of having Archive Trap in their hand. Sure. Okay. Alright. They've got Blood Chief's Thirst in their deck, so, like, that's a thing. Alright, there's the shock. Oh. With a Wrenn and 6 in play, I definitely don't want to dredge. Go ahead and plus. Grab another Copperline Gorge. Play it, and start jamming Tireless Trackers that I can hopefully make good. Yeah, so opponent shocked, but then didn't do anything with the mana. Okay, sure. Alright. I eat 3 more cards from the land entering the battlefield, and then, like, I could get hit by something like Atasha's Hideous Laughter and mill me for a bunch. 2 mana. Alright, yeah, there's Atasha's Hideous Laughter, which got us for 12. Not gonna dredge. Okay, cool. I think I am going to go ahead and play Tireless Tracker. Plus Wrenn and 6. Just grab some land that doesn't search. I'm going to try to play around archive trap cards right now, because I'm going to have more clues than I can easily crack. All right. This is going to be a pretty swift clock. 26 cards remaining in deck. Assuming I crack 2 clues next turn, my opponent's nearly dead. Okay. Grab is good. Land drop is very good. So, Field of Ruin, sort of a weird one right now. It gives my opponents more crab triggers, but also gives me more clues. Sure. Asha's Hideous Laughter. Oh, fuck. 13 cards that time. That basically means I'm dead, right? Because Field of Ruin is a problem. My Field of Ruin, their Field of Ruin, that doesn't really help me, right? Okay. So, how do I kill my opponent this turn? Okay, I need to draw an Anger of the Gods, I guess. I guess, like, that's the way that I deal with these crabs. So I can crack a clue token and draw Anger of the Gods. Come on. Do not dredge. Drew Field of Ruin. Yeah, so I can Field of Ruin their Field of Ruin. But then they get a land drop mill me for 6. That's not gonna work. I guess I can draw a Lightning Bolt, right? Okay, Lightning Bolt is my current out. I'm gonna play a land drop. Yield to those. Go to combat. Attack with this. As long as my opponent goes no blocks, I'm on an out. F. Okay, so opponent is just soaking up this damage, presumably because they have me dead in one way or another. Okay. I guess I'll still crack here and see what I draw. I want to dredge. I drew a Sakura Tribe Scout, sure. I am going to plus Wrenn in 6, because doing so means that I can just Lightning Bolt my opponent to death next turn. And I'll play Sakura Tribe Scout. Alright, so if opponent has a mill spell, they beat me here. And, like, given the way that they just played out their turn, it feels like they have it. Otherwise, they make me have the Lightning Bolt because they have the win on board. Cycle, Fractured, Sanity, that mills exactly 4. To be fair, though, if I didn't have exactly 4, they would have just cast that anyway, right? Yeah. All right. So again, we're just in this situation where we're always one turn too slow. Like Wrenn and 6 ultimate kills my opponent here. These things attacking kills my opponent here. We're just like one turn too slow yet again, unfortunately. And no, you can't just like dredge the life from the loam and go like, oh, I couldn't draw. What's that? I don't lose the game. That doesn't work. Yeah, so I'm 0-4. I'm having fun playing this, though. I'm going to play out the last round. It's another Luris deck. Okay. I'm going to keep this hand. Like, we have a Sakura Tribe Scout, and we have a Life from the Loam. We can hopefully, like, crap a bunch of lands into play, and then kind of, like, find a way to win once we've reached a decent mana total. Okay. So this is just, like, the third time in this Modern League where we're playing Burn. All right, we already know how this one works. I'm one turn too slow. That's unfortunate. Whatever. The match will go fast. I'm still playing it out. I'll go to 19 here. My best draw here would just be one of my 3 drops that like have a high impact on the game, like a Valakut Exploration. Round 6 is a decent distraction. Let's cycle. Okay, I did not succeed in doing this all in a way that I can do it without taking damage. I wanted to cycle as well. That's okay. So I'll do a shock here, tap this, put in the forest, play Wrenn and 6, plus Wrenn and 6 to return this. Alright, so I am ahead by 1 on land drops as of right now. Okay. Eidolon has proven itself really fucking good against my Life from the Loams. That's been well established at this point. Alright, they're just going to ignore my Wrenn and 6 completely. Fair. Okay, cool. Very happy to have access to this. Am I just playing this turn naked? That feels kind of bad. It might be better to just set this up for next turn, so that it just like doesn't immediately die to a lightning bolt without me like doing anything. Like, I want to find a fetch land here. Yeah, I'm gonna try to wait a turn here. Lightning bolt. That on Eidolon is pretty damn good, actually. So let's plus get this back. I could try to get some value out of my opponent's Eidolon, or I could just cast this Life from the Loam. I'll probably want to cast this Life from the Loam. Okay. Let's cycle this again. A new Life from the Loam. Okay. This one can be done at instant speed. Yeah, I actually don't want to take damage off of this. Okay. Let's go no to that. I can put in a land at instant speed. I can lightning bolt this after my opponent takes some damage from it. All right. Okay, so I assume you're shocking. Swift Spear, sure. Into another Swift Spear. Holy fuck. All right. All right, everything's coming at me. Lightning Bolt goes at Eidolon. And then I'll take 3 damage from these, assuming there's not another spell. There's not. A Rift Bolt is being suspended, though. Tap this. Put in a Field of Ruin. Okay. This is a weird fucking turn. Okay, here we go. So, 3 mana for Seismic Assault. Plus, return Tranquil Thicket. Blow up a Monastery Swift Spear. Life from the Loam. Target Tranquil Thicket. Discard another one of these. Blowing up Tranquil Thicket. And honestly, I probably leave back Sakura Tribe Scout to just soak up 1 or 2 points of life, because what I have going on now is now strong enough to just win the game. So I assume this Rift Bolt just gets pointed at my dome. It does. I'm just looking to soak up however many points of damage I can from Monastery Swift Spear with this card right now. Skewer? Yep. Please don't tell me I'm just like 1 turn too slow again. I will be so sad. Alright, Skewer puts me to 2. And, you have another... Oh, you have a Goblin Guide. That puts me exactly dead. Unless the top card of my library is a land. That would be fucking wild. Alright. Here they come. Land. Lightning Bolt. Alright. In that case, I am unfortunately dead. And I almost did the thing there. Alright, I want 2 Zuran Orbs. Maybe I'm supposed to play Anger of the Gods. Like, Eidolon stopping my whole life from the Loam stuff is, like, definitely a problem. As with every other round, I think I go Aggressive Mining out. I think I'll go down a life from the Loam. Do I go down one of these since I'm bringing in a pile of Anger of the Gods? That seems reasonable. I also think I boarded in a Tireless Tracker before just to increase my threat density. Did I go down even further on life from the Loam? Something approximating this is fine. I don't know that I can play the Anger of the Gods on the draw. Like, it's, those creatures will already have gotten in for a decent amount of damage by the time that hits. I will keep this hand. And doesn't have, like, a super great plan if my opponent just points all the burn at my face, but if my opponent is playing creatures, this hand is quite good. I think it's important enough that I hold Lightning Bolt up for my opponent's turn that I do just play Scalding Turn on 1 rather than tapped Stomping Ground. Tapped Stomping Ground probably happens on turn 3. Alright, land go. Alright, what do you have for me? Alright. Okay, this is what I want, and we can actually wait for this thing to, like, attack in and, like, do its trigger to see if we get a free card out of it. We do not, and we do not want to draw a Lightning Bolt badly enough that we take 2 damage here. A Mountain, Lightning Bolt. Like, because I have this card, I kind of want to grow this card, but I think this card is likely to die to a Lightning Bolt. And I'd rather play... Actually, I'm going to play Valakut Exploration no matter what next turn, basically. I will Shock to make this, like, sequencing better. Like, this becomes awkward if my opponent plays, like, a one-drop creature or an Eidolon that I, like, really want a Lightning Bolt, but outside of that situation, like, for my curve, I really want to have access to Valakut Exploration. Yeah. Alright. So I will jam this, and hopefully this can get us into real win condition territory. I would like to assemble the whole Titania, Zuran Orb situation. Like, that's the thing that I can do that is unfair in this matchup, but unfortunately it requires 5 cards and multiple mana. This Anger of the Gods is going to be fucking juicy, and I love it. So my opponent got 1 damage with each one of those cards, which is not the rate they are looking for with this deck. Another Valakut Exploration is super cool. I don't think I get to play that this turn. Like, it's just way too important to play Anger of the Gods. Lightning Bolt. Alright, so I'm always doing this. I think I'm supposed to wait on this fetch land until I have this other Valakut Exploration into play, because that allows me to look at some more cards, and I need cards right now. I'm just going to take the 1 damage with the Lightning Bolt and hold this land for later. Alright, and you can take 1 off of this Lightning Bolt instead of 3, which is kind of wild, but I feel like that's probably correct. This 1 life also, like, could be the difference between me staying alive and not. Alright, so spending a Rift Bolt, playing a Swift Spear. Okay, I will Lightning Bolt this. Okay. So, fetch, regular mountain. Oh, I guess I can let this trigger resolve first to see if I don't. Oh, Titania! Hello! Now, this triggers at the beginning of my end step. Very, very notable wording there. Other Valakut Exploration. I think Titania is just better, though. So, Titania, and I'll return a fetch land. Fetch land triggers Valakut Exploration. Finding me fucking Zuran Orb! Finding me fucking Zuran Orb! Let's fucking go! Yes! I'm so glad I played out this round. Alright, I'll do a tap Stomping Ground here. It will not pay the life. Yield to this. Alright. Sack this. Sack this. Sack this. Sack this. Sack this. Sack this. Yeah. This is what we came here for. Okay, cool. Plan's good. Let's do the plan again. We have to do it on the draw this time, which is harder. Like, the Anger of the Gods when I'm on the play really can save me more damage than it can on the draw. Like, on the draw, it has the possibility of hitting more creatures. But, you know. Okay, so, like, we've got the Anger of the Gods. I think this is a keep. Like, I hope my opponent, like, both mulligans and has a creature-based start, and I get, like, a 2-for-1 with this Anger of the Gods. Oh, excuse me. 2-for-1 with this Anger of the Gods. I get to cycle Tranquil Thicket to try to hit a reasonable turn 2 play. It's very possible that I just play Vinelasher Kudzu to, like, literally soak up 2 points of damage, depending on what my opponent has as their start. Alright, I am at 19. Okay, sure. I'm gonna cycle this now, then I can just F6 through my opponent's turn. So I have my first couple land drops in order. Let's see how aggressive my opponent's hand is. Okay. I'm at 18. This is fine. So this means I'm not gonna play Vinelasher Kudzu this turn because it costs me 2 life. I'll just get a tapped Stomping Ground out of the way this turn. The next turn is Rootbound Crag into Anger of the Gods, and hopefully I am at a respectable life total when the dust settles from that. Alright, so no Goblin Guide or anything. No Swift Spear. I'm taking 3-ish damage from this attack. Okay, cool. Oh yeah. This is the sort of thing I wanted, right? I wanted a 2 or 3-for-1 with this Anger of the Gods. This Anger of the Gods does cost me 4 life to play. So, like, that's a thing, but the 3-for-1 here is definitely a big deal. Okay, another Rootbound Crag. Anger. This drops me to 11, which is not, like, the healthiest number in the world. Okay. So, goodbye, creatures. And then we see how many spells my opponent can just throw at my face. Looking to get established and then find Zuran Orb. Okay, sure. Relic of Progenitus. Okay, that's a slow cantrip. I'm good with that. I take 2 this turn. I'm at 9. I mean, yeah. I am fine with just taking this off the board. Play a apt Stomping Ground here and run back another one of these. This is one of those situations where, like, every point of life is going to matter. Okay, cool. This may be a turn where my opponent is just gonna, like, Boros Charm me or something. Okay, this is a lot of damage that I'm going to set up here. Play Vinelasher Kudzu. Play Vinelasher Kudzu. I think I do this. Yield to those, and then see if I can potentially set up a line where I get lethal next turn. This is currently 6 damage. Alright, Boros Charm me, sure. Oh, I should have tapped a Relic there. Just good habits. Lightning Bolt me, absolutely. Yeah, it did not matter. Alright, so that is a fully played out league where we went 0-5. Let's get rid of that. That's another league. Overall thoughts on the deck list? Not viable. I mean, so this donation was made to try and make aggressive mining work. And I boarded out all 3 copies of it in every single round because Modern is too fast for this card. That is kind of the moral of this story, right? Like, we are trying to play things with a lot of moving parts, and the moving parts are super cool when they work well. But basically, in every single round, I lost by half a turn cycle, right? I was always just a little bit too low. Like, the Titania combo is super cool, but I don't know that that is something you should be trying to do in Modern when you can, like, kill your opponent with an investment of, like, 3 mana with Hammer Time or something like that, right? Like, there's so many linear, efficient decks that just get you dead so much more quickly than this. I don't really think you have time to, like, derp around with this whole, like, Life from the Loam stuff. Like, there's really cool synergies in this deck that you can mess around with. Like, I think this would be an awesome kitchen table deck. Or maybe you can try, like, some of this stuff in a format that's slightly younger than Modern, like Pioneer or something like that. Maybe a chunk of this is legal, and you can mess around with some of that there. Basically, if I was going to try to improve this deck list, um, I don't know what I would do, because ultimately I feel like everything that I would be doing would still be just kind of, like, too slow for the format. Like, maybe you can mess around with, like, a bunch of powerful 2-drops instead, like max out on Valakut Explorations, play a bunch of Tarmogoyfs, go up to 4 life from the Loams, try to be dredging things for Tarmogoyfs, like maybe try out some Delve stuff instead. Maybe go into white for Knight of the Reliquary, which can just get huge with your land, like the number of lands in graveyard. But like Wrenn and 7 was way too slow. Aggressive mining was way too slow. Seismic Assault saved our butt a couple of times, but generally speaking was slow and mana intensive as well. So I just don't think this general strategy is super viable. Regardless, I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, click the like button on your way out. That helps me out a lot. If you have thoughts on how to improve this deck list, I would love to hear them. Have a great rest of the day, folks. See ya!